all the way from Group 7. Today we're going to talk about the risk quantification of Macy's. But first, in order to quantify those risks, we need to understand where does Macy's revenue come from. So we divide those business segments into four major parts. We have home and miscellaneous, women's accessory, intimate apparel, shoes and cosmetics, and also women's apparel and men's and children's. We also take a look at the different percentage of customers per business segment. So for the first step of risk quantification, we build our own baseline model. Because Macy's is not highly dependent on its salesperson to generate revenues, we use the number of customers instead. And then if you times the number of customers to the average purchase, you get the revenue coming from different business parts. And also because Macy's is a retail store, so those cost of goods sold, SG&A expenses, as well as impairments, store closing, and other costs are critical to Macy's business. And also because different risks are going to have a huge impact on the number of customers coming each year, so we also have a measurement on the average retention rate as well as the number of additional customers per year. And then if you put different impacts coming from different risk scenarios into this Excel sheets, you can get a clear view of the different values that these risk scenarios helps bring in. And that will give us the input that we wanted to calculate the company's value, such as the revenue, expenses, and net income from income statement, and also, for example, the equity value from balance sheet. So that will allow us to see the change of company value, and also using different key risk metrics, such as the company value and the compounded annual growth rate. And now Suja's going to talk about the different risks.
Hi, I'm Suja. The most important risk to Macy's is the competitive risk. The company's operations are impacted by competitive pressures, and there would be a negative impact on the company's business if they fail to compete effectively. The risk event to this risk is a new department store suddenly entered into the retail industry. Macy's is the largest fashion goods retailer in the United States. The new entrant will influence the number of customers in each segment and the retention rate of the customers. The first scenario to this risk is very pessimistic. The new department store had many promotions that took away most of the Macy's customers, which helped to gain more market shares. The likelihood of this scenario is 10%. It will largely influence the number of the customers in each segment and the retention rate of the customers. As a consequence, the company value will decrease by 49%. The second scenario is the pessimistic scenario. The new department store has a very strong advertisement function which attracts a lot of customers. The likelihood of this scenario is 30%, and as a consequence, the company value will decrease by 28%. The third scenario is the optimistic. Macy's has a high customer loyalty, which did not allow the new department store to take away many customers. The likelihood of this scenario is 30%. As a consequence, the company value will decrease just by 10%. And now I pass my presentation to Zhekang.
Hi, I'm Zhe, and now let's move on to the next risk, which is economic risk. The risk event for economic risk is there is an unexpected downturn in the economy imposing negative impacts on the market. The unemployment rate increases by 4%, which will not be fully recovered after 3 years. And the next one is supplier risk, and the risk event is unexpected changes in Macy's suppliers will have impact on Macy's cost of goods sold, which will then affect the average purchase of corresponding sales categories. And the next one is legislative and regulatory risk. For this one, the risk event is environmental issues have received particular attention in some of Macy's stores. In these stores, materials containing asbestos and lead pipes will be used within the construction of the structures. Class action lawsuit may take place and a certain amount of fines will be paid out to employees affected. Well, The last one is technology risk. The risk event is a hack has affected customers who shopped at Macy's stores between November 27th and December 15, 2016. Customer names, credit, and debit card numbers and other information are involved in information theft. And for the results in the model, we develop a table chart here. And in order to better show the result, we drew a bar chart for the dollar change for the company value. And here we can see that the competitor risk and the regulatory risk contributes most to the dollar change in company value. Well, based on the 5 risk event and the 15 scenarios, competitor risk is the most significant, while the supplier risk is the least significant. And why is the result? Because Macy's is a customer-based company, so any changes in the customer quantity and purchase will lead to a significant change in the company value. So competitor risk is actually the most important contributing factor and driving component to the quantity of customers, or I can say customer numbers. And from the value-based perspective, Macy's most important component driver when making strategic decision is the number of customers, as we can see that competitor is a driving factor that can lead to the change in customer numbers. So here, the first thing that comes to our mind when we are trying to give some suggestions is how to increase our customer base, or at least maintain the same level to increase the profits. So here is the logic of our model building process. The first one is risk identification, then the risk quantification, and then build a model to make the risk scenarios for each risk, and then run the model to support our decision makings, and then we come up with a customer base maintaining or increase solutions. So this is the whole process of our value-based ERM model. And the Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals are extended. So if you go and get something at Macy's, you will become one of our customers. So this is the presentation of Group 7, and hope you like it.